Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the dark night of the soul. So what's the dark night of the soul? Dark night of the soul, my friend Devin, I met him like 2 years ago in school. Cool ass guy, on the same frequency as me. And we've been keeping in touch. And he said like, yo Dave, you got to look up this psychological, spiritual idea of the dark night of the soul. So basically what it is after you've kind of become spiritually woke, whatever you want to call it, you've awakened to the reality of the world, the reality of human nature. You may go through a dark point in your life, a little bit of darkness, and that's called spiritual depression. You get spiritual depression because your old way of living, your old life, you realize like how phony it was. If you're really big into partying, you're really big into smoking, really big into drinking, whatever it is, gambling, like whatever external way of living, too external way of living, you realize like how phony it is and how bad it is for you. And once you realize that, the novelty of it, the pleasure part of it, you stop having that ignorance to it, that blissful ignorance. And this leaves you to question yourself, like, okay, I know partying, I know drugs, I know sex, I know all these things that all these worldly pleasures that the world's been telling me is good for me, or is happiness, whatever, money, fucking everything. It's not. It's no longer. It doesn't fill a void inside of me, because as humans, we're born with a void. We're born with a void, and we're trying to connect to something. We're trying to fill it with something. So as we get older, we try to fill it with drugs, we try to fill it with sex, we try to fill it with money, we try to fill it with relationships, all these external things, which, I'm not bashing all of them. Like, we're human beings. We're supposed to have a human experience. It's just when you go too far deep into it and you're trying to find an internal problem with external forces, it just doesn't work out. And so when you realize that, you question yourself and you question what the meaning of life is. And this is spiritual depression. And this is when unconsciously you're having an experience with yourself. You're going through turmoil. You're going through depression. And you can't even put your finger on it because you're like, what am I depressed about? And consciously, you're kind of lashing out. You're having anger issues. You just, a lot of depression. And it's just a bad time. It's a super dark time. You're in the darkness. It is the dark night of your soul. But what comes after the dark night is light. Every night, the sun comes up the next day. And once you go through this dark time in your life, you come out and you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And you appreciate things more. And I feel like I've been through this, the dark night of the soul. I feel like I've been through this, and I'm maybe still even going through it a little bit, but not as bad as it is. Like, I'm coming out of it. Because a year ago, 2 years ago, heavy depression, like just heavy depression. And yeah, there was things that could have caused it, but I had already gotten over those things. But I had realized like what was causing my depression was external things. And then once I got over that, I was like, okay, well, if I'm not supposed to live super externally, what the fuck's the point of life? It's a lot of meaningless thoughts going through my brain. That wasn't healthy. But what I found out is that the treasure, the void I've been trying to look for my whole life, the treasure that you guys are looking for, it's inside. You don't got to go anywhere for it. You don't have to go anywhere. And I feel like the journey of trying to find it externally, when you do find it internally, it makes it that more important to you. And so, yeah, there's another thing too I want to talk about, which is shadow work, which is something I recently found out, and I feel like I wish I would have found out earlier. And it's all about shadow work. It's not adding anything, but it's getting rid of mental and spiritual barriers that have been causing you to connect with the dark side of you, with the shadow side of you. And this dark side of you isn't anything evil. It's just trauma and things that happen in old memories and things that are a part of you that you just chose to not shine any light on. You've chose to not pay attention to. And what happens is when you don't pay attention to the shadow side of you, it lashes out. It comes out in dreams, in nightmares, very bad thoughts, sleep paralysis. yo, I was going through some crazy sleep paralysis, and it's not fun. Like, bro, when you wake up and you can't even move your eyes, and in front of you is a demon sitting on your chest, and then you start getting up and levitating in, like, in the air out of your bed, and your fucking dorm roommate doesn't notice shit, and you're just like, yo, I'm levitating with a demon next to me. That ain't fun. So, and that was me. The reason why I was having those is because I wasn't paying attention to the shadow side of me. I wasn't doing shadow work, which is getting rid of mental, spiritual, and physical barriers that were holding me back from connecting myself with my consciousness. You know, hold on, let me cross the street real quick. But yeah, shadow work. Look it up. I can't explain the whole thing because I'm still learning more about it right now. But look up everything. Look up meditation. Look up shadow work. Look up dark night of soul. I'm here to spread a positive message. You know, don't take my message as gospel. I'm just here to invoke thought. Yeah, and just one more thing on shadow work too. Came to my brain. But basically, I'm a super visual learner, and if I have any links to the videos down below, just videos that I watched to learn about this stuff, I'll put it down below. But all I can equate it to is a dam. So if you got water, dam, water. The dam in the middle is how you perceive yourself, your super ego thoughts, and then water's persona, which is the light side of you, your light conscious, dam, and then you have the shadow side of you. And that part of you, sorry about that, I'm making a video. That part of you is basically the side of you that you don't shed light on. It's the side that you keep repressed, full of trauma. And what trauma is when a lot of emotions happen to you at one point in given time that you're not able to handle it. So it becomes a traumatic experience. You hide it down below, and that trauma really jabs you in the side, dictates you subconsciously without you really even knowing it. So shadow work, when you release that dam, you let the shadow side of you, the water, flow through the dam instead of the water breaking the dam and consuming you. Those nightmares, those sleep paralysis, those were like leaks in the dam. That was the shadow side of me trying to get out. So you guys, if you're going through that shit, know that it's just the shadow side of you that you've been neglecting, the trauma, the memories, good or bad, whatever you've been putting in the dark is trying to come out. And if you don't let it out, it's going to leak its way out or just consume you. So start with dissolving mental, spiritual barriers, and you do this by questioning your ideologies, your beliefs, your worldview, and your ego. Question your beliefs and question how you view the world. If your beliefs are off, if your worldview is off, it's just super bad negative, you're probably gonna be a super bad negative person. You know, if you think the world is shit, the world is gonna treat you shitty. You know, yeah, there's bullshit in the world, but that's just the way it is. You still have to have some sort of positivity to yourself. So that's what I gotta say. If no one said I love you yet, know that I love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. If you want to like. If not, do what you gotta do, man or girl. And yeah, that's it. Deuces.